Hello, my name is Anthony Balukas. I'm 18 years old and I'm from Montreal, Canada.
My name is Stella. I'm 17.
Hi, my name is Keanu. I'm 13 from Arkansas.
Andra, I'm 15.
Hi, my name's Elena. I am 17 years old. I'm from New York.
Hi everyone, I'm Jenny. I'm from South Carolina. I'm 16 years old
And I
And I
Scoliosis.
Hi, my name's Ashley. I'm 19 years old. I'm from Montreal, Canada, and I have scoliosis. Scoliosis has truly changed my life in so many ways. I was diagnosed when I was 13 and had a spinal fusion in 2010 when I was 14. Going through the spinal fusion and having scoliosis in general has really made me a stronger person today. I hope after viewing my film you can really see firsthand what scoliosis is and hear from people who are dealing with it right now in present day how they really feel about this disease, how they really feel about their bodies, and how scoliosis has changed their life.
It all started when I was 12 years old, 2 years ago now. And I was visiting my gran, and she noticed when I was bending down to pick something up, I think, that I bent down a bit weirdly, and she felt my back and she had a look, and then she said I better go check it out at the hospital because she thought it was scoliosis, and it turned out it was.
So around the age of 12, at a regular checkup with my doctor, he noticed that I had a small curvature in my spine.
When I was in my grandpa's house, it was like when I was 9, I was in my grandpa's house. My grand wanted me to try on the dress. I tried on the dress, and then they said, Kiana, you're standing weird. Why are you standing like that? Stand normal. And I said, I am standing normal. You should get that checked out. And so then I got it checked out, and they told me I had scoliosis.
After hearing everyone's scoliosis story, I thought it'd be a good idea to learn more about scoliosis, and I headed over to the Shriners Hospital in Montreal, Canada to interview orthopedic surgeon Dr. Jean Ouellet.
Scoliosis is a deformity of the spine, and it's a deformity that presents itself almost at any time during their lifehood, more often when they're children. Some children are born with scoliosis, and that's often because their bones have been malformed. Other types of scoliosis is something that presents when the child is about 10 or 12, and it's really when they're going through their growth spurt. And at that time, what happens is that the growth is asymmetrical, so one side sort of grows more than the other, and then you get this deformity that develops. There's the majority of scoliosis is what we call idiopathic scoliosis, meaning we don't really know what causes it. And these are the ones that are genetic in base. I try to teach this to families and sort of expose to them what are the options to manage scoliosis. There's 3. It's sort of straightforward. One is that we observe. If the curves are small and we don't think they're going to get worse, we just say, well, we're going to keep an eye on it. The second treatment, if you want, is really bracing. So in a child that has a curve and the child is going to be growing, you need to put them in a brace so that the growth, or you try to control some of the growth to prevent the curves from getting worse. And then when the curves are severe, and those are the ones that we recommend surgery, and the surgery really sort of blocks the spine for the time being to prevent it from getting worse. What we found is that if you don't treat it, the curves, and those are the ones that are continuing to get worse, start impacting the lung functions. And therefore, if you leave a curve that becomes severe, and by severe, we're talking about 70 degrees, 80 degrees, and so on, then these are the patients that run into trouble with their lungs. So we want to prevent that. The other thing, there's a component of aesthetics. If you think about it, as the spine continues to deform, then the appearance and self-image changes. And a lot of the patients don't like that, and they want to try to become as normal as they can.
Like Dr. Ouellet said, a lot of people with scoliosis tend to have body image issues.
Another big thing with people with scoliosis, they're very self-conscious sometimes. I have uneven shoulders, so that's always hard for me, definitely since I'm a swimmer, and people see it a lot, and they always make fun of it.
I had scoliosis for probably 5 or so years now. Big thing that you can notice is that one of my hips is actually crooked because of this, like the way my curve is, that my hip sticks out farther on one side than the other.
When I grew up, obviously my back did get worse. And at one point I noticed changes in the look of my back. I started getting humps on the top right corner and the bottom left corner of my back. So I have two big bumps that make my back look very strange, which obviously made me insecure at times. Like going to the beach, I had problems taking my shirt off because I think people would notice if they saw my back. I was afraid of what people would think. Even as much as back massages, when someone would give me a back massage, I'd feel so uncomfortable, not only for myself, but for them, because I thought they were feeling this very weird, strange back. Also, the doctor said that this also has a few inches off me in height, so I was pretty upset about that. I also was very insecure about my height growing up. I wanted to be 6 feet, which is what I was supposed to be, but because of my scoliosis, it had about 2 inches off me, which really sucked.
Surgery to correct scoliosis is always on the minds of those who deal with the disease.
Scoliosis surgery is a major surgery. Patients typically are in hospital for about a week. The surgery itself, depending on how severe the curve is and what needs to be done, can take up to, let's say, 3 to 6 hours. We have to create a bridge, and it's a bony bridge between each vertebra. So the little blocks of the spine that are the vertebrae that are now sort of all deforming slowly, we want them to become one piece of bone. So the way that we do that is that we make an incision in the back, we move the muscles away from the spine, then we get onto the bone, and then we scrape every vertebra. So we're almost creating little fractures at each vertebra, so that when the body heals, each vertebra will heal with the one that's beside it, that's also been irritated or fractured. So then all the bones, or all the vertebrae that you've opened and sort of caused the fracture will all heal as one piece of bone. What we do is that we put in screws. So we're putting some anchors, so spinal anchors. And these, to a certain degree, I could even sort of show you on the model. So this is a model of the spine. So that we place these little screws that allows us to attach a bar. So the bar, we'll use the pencil as the bar. But then we create this construct that allows us to sort of attach everything together. And it's a bit like when you break your leg. The bars are there to hold the spine into place so that when it heals, it all heals together.
It was actually 2 operations, which I knew nothing about. I thought it would be maybe a week in hospital and an operation, but I was very wrong. First operation, which wasn't on my back, it was on my side. They had to take out a lot of fluid out of my chest. And then I had my last operation in a week and a half after that, and it might sound a bit weird, but the more serious, longer operation, which was the back operation, was less painful than the smaller, less important really. I'm just so lucky it went right.
My surgery coming up soon. Well, probably soon. It's 162 days. With that being said, of course I'm gonna be nervous. I'm gonna have fears.
I still have to go check up with my surgeon every so often to see if I do need a surgery because I'm at the 45 degree. And 50 degree is the limit. After 50, usually you need surgery. So I keep going to check up to see if it gets worse. So far it hasn't, so I don't need the surgery. I really don't want the surgery. It's a big procedure.
Pain is also a huge part of dealing with scoliosis.
We've recently done some research here, and we found that actually there's about 50%, half of the patients that have scoliosis actually complain of some amount of pain.
Lose have scoliosis in a word. It'd be pain because it hurts a lot.
Some issues that I would have is that my back, if I'm standing for a while, will hurt more. If I'm wearing heels, especially, my back tends to hurt because of it, and it gives me a lot of pain.
Despite the small curve, my pain is still pretty bad for how small it is. I have to use this thing called a TENS unit because it hurts so bad. And I take Aleve and all that medicine a lot.
They ended up giving me a back brace. The problem was you basically have to tighten it with Velcro straps in the back as much as you can, which made it very uncomfortable. It was painful to wear at night. I had trouble breathing. It wasn't fun.
But at the end of the day, scoliosis does not define us. It only makes us stronger.
I don't really pay attention to having scoliosis on a daily basis because it's not something that controls your life. It's just something you live with.
A few years later, I'm back to being a goalkeeper for football.
Everyone has something wrong with them. Yours just happens to be scoliosis.
Scoliosis is a deformity, not a disease. So we can get through this. We are Scully strong.